I was recording just on the second camera instead hitting record on my main camera. Well, good. Hey YouTube. I bet you've seen those great or good developers who converted to managers or leads and became very average. And they become average with everything, with coding and with the new role. First of all, often people are not ready to get that new role that requires more attention and more tension with people. Second, people are dragged away from the code, so they became average coders. Why is that happening? There is even an idea of a good CTO, where the good CTO is only the one that keeps coding. I partially agree to that idea. And the reason behind that is because code is a language. We don't need any programming language or part of binary code to write machine instructions. Machine understands that. It doesn't it doesn't need any code style, any at all. But we people, we need all that stuff, all that fancy APIs, all this convenience, that sugar thing, what was it? Syntactic sugar. We need this, not machine. And what is the reason for it? Well, our cognitive abilities, which are limited, quite limited. And what makes a great team, what distinguishes great team from good teams? Well, great teams has ownership. Not only they know how they impact customers and bring value and all that business stuff, they know what exactly in their solution is responsible for this and that. And then, without looking at the code, without looking for AI help, they can say, oh, there is such a thing that works this way, or that other thing that works that way, and these two things probably are causing issues we are having right now. These assumptions might not be true. The problem may lie somewhere else, definitely. But at least having those options reduces the amount of time that is needed to investigate drastically. Because you understand how the system works. And this is the reason I do not believe fully in vibe coding, in coding with AI, in AI written code. This is not the way. We can prototype, we can show off, we can speak about, wow, how great it is. I did it overnight, I have an app now. That's amazing. Till the moment there are problems. And the more complex there is a system, and the more complex system is, more problems we have. This is the rule. This is not just like, oh, there are good systems and bad systems. No. There will be always some issues or some things to improve. The question is, how much time will it take? How expensive will it be? If you reduce the cost in the beginning, this is great from the business perspective. You can bootstrap fast and cheap. Amazing. Can you keep the same low price when you are scaling? You see, starting a business easily and fast isn't a problem. Starting a business easily and fast and develop that business is a bigger problem. And let it grow and keep it growing is even a bigger problem. In last years, I've seen so many businesses that were rushing forward, scaling, and not actually caring about the technical aspects. Maybe because their teams were not mature enough, maybe because it seemed to business that developing new features is much more important rather than taking care and clean up the existing stuff. This is tricky. And I'm not here to blame anyone or finger point. But I want to raise the attention that this might not be the right approach. And even with AI is hallucinating a lot. You cannot rely on people. If you ask a question, our brain is wired that way that we may answer the different version of this question. And this is proved by science. Just go and read Daniel Kahneman, Thinking Fast and Slow. It's about how our computer works here. And this is really great reading. At least ask AI for a summary. You will at least know what are the biases that are weird, that things that are buggy in our brains. If we do not train them properly, we can avoid that, but we have to know what exactly is wrong. And now, using these brains, we created machines, and we created other machines that kinda can understand us and pretend they are thinking, pretend these are making decisions, etc., etc. Now, when you ask this machine to create commands for that basic machine, and then you ask why it is not working, do you expect that you will get the real results? I mean, the real answers, the real reasons? Even people aren't doing that for most of the time. I've seen so many teams that relies on magic. Why this happens? Oh, it's sort of magic. Why that happens? Oh, that's magic. That's a trick. Nobody knows why it works this way. It should be working a bit differently, but well, it's not disturbing a lot, so we're avoiding that problem. So many times I've seen that. Misunderstanding or lack of understanding at all. And writing code with AI, now you want to say that, oh, it will make it better? No way. I mean, AI can improve a lot of things. AI can speed up things in many ways, especially when you give it an example. Just like, oh, I have this, controller, this API endpoint. I want the same, but with different arguments. You will get it. But you still need time to read it, to go through, to validate, to adjust, most probably. And then you could take ownership of that code. Because there is a mental model in our brain that is wired to that code that is there. It might be more or less detailed. It's a personal thing. But this is exactly the thing why I was standing on a totally different level for most of my career. Being curious and asking question, why? Why this works this way? Why it happens this way? What exactly author meant when he wrote this? I don't understand how it works. Okay, I can go and read. Well, I still don't understand. I remember like callbacks when I started to learn like callbacks. Why? But what are callbacks? I was writing callbacks for a week, like literally. Oh, I will try this. I will try. Okay, this works. This doesn't in JavaScript. You can have those like anonymous and other way. It was it was back then when promises were not a thing yet. And I was doing that literally for around a week. And then like boom, oh, this is just a function that is passed as an argument and called somewhere else. This is the way how I can execute something from the caller side. Boom, okay, I got it. And then many other things. Like write code, get debugger, and with AI it's even nicer. Like, oh, I don't understand. Like here is the code. I don't understand why there is such a keyword or why this variable got this value. And you can get more and more explanations from different perspectives until you got the one that hits. This speed things up. I think AI for learning is definitely a game changer. But using AI for writing code, for building your application, for building your business, no. We are far from that, and I think my bet is this will never happen. Maybe at some point there will be dedicated frameworks for AI that AI will be able to use the right way without validation. So there are, like building blocks, like Lego, putting all this together and the AI can do that. Well, maybe yes. I started to think about this topic a while ago, and now I'm talking about it because I was investigating backend as a service. These days you can get anything as a service, but when plan A is not working, you should get to the plan B, backend as a service. And there are such nice promises. There are many promises. There are many promises from such platforms, like build fast, release fast, make everything work great, etc., etc. Well, yeah, you can start fast if you learn the specific API. You have to do that. The next thing, well, time is money. You will get billed for that. While it was okay to pay like $10, $15, maybe $20 for emerging platform, more to support them. And then I've created additional project just to play around, to test if I can implement this idea and what would be the right way. I got a bill for $40. And I understood that, okay, this actually won't scale well. If I keep building, if I keep investigating my ideas, and I need backend for them, because you need backend to integrate AI, okay? Then, well, hitting $100 bill for having a bunch of functions, wow, a bit too much for me. And then I went to try another platform, similar platform. I'm not naming them on purpose. And then it turned out that, okay, I can self-host the first one, the second one. And the first one didn't bootstrap well. The second one, well, I bootstrapped it, kind of working fine. But well, I'm limited to one project only. Self-hosted. Some features are disabled, something is missing there, and I'm limited to one project only. And this project claims to be open source. Well, open source is a tough work. I've been leading, architecting, and maintaining such a project. It's tough. Well, I was doing this as a part of a bigger company, and I was paid well for that effort, so I was getting my salary. But it's still challenging. Unluckily, we started to overuse the open source badge for projects that are not complete when these are open sourced. And this is sad. But on the bright side of the story, it's AI again. I believe we can do so many things on our own for self-hosting, for open source, and we can do so much more with AI, avoiding involving companies that use open source badge to be a part of their probably marketing plan. That's it. There are bright sides and there are tricky things, as usual. After all, right now I'm taking a look on BaaS, a real open source project that has very small and tiny functionality built in. There are no fancy things. But I think this is exactly enough to build a project and to have some first steps done with that backend. Like, let's be honest, the most tricky part is working with database, having a database, and the next tricky part is having authorization. BaaS has it all built in. It's using SQLite, which is perfect till some scale. And if it gets traction, if it gets money, then it's fine to pay, to scale, to do anything that's needed. But in the beginning, self-hosting is all what we need. And AI is saving us, but probably a different way, not the one that we think it will. Thanks for watching this. See you. Bye. They say get bored and you will start creating. But with all this fancy stuff, when you're trying to start creating, it's hard to get bored. Something needs to be fixed, adjusted, improved, replaced. All the different things are happening. Like, for example, in this case, recording stopped. Why? I don't know. Due to an error.